Right now at 9, the Carthage City Administrator retires. We'll have the details. Plus, Joplin's National Guard Armory gets a new name to honor a fallen Guard member. Also, we're heading to Webb City for the Shop Hop, and we'll tell you about a Joplin business helping you decorate your Easter eggs in a unique way. You're watching the KOAM News at 9, and it starts right now. And thank you for joining us. I'm Chris Warner. The city administrator for the city of Carthage has retired. According to a Facebook post by the city yesterday, Tom Short announced his retirement effective yesterday. Now, the post says Short has more than 40 years of experience and joined the city of Carthage in 1997, making him the longest serving city administrator in the city's history. A Missouri National Guard member who was killed overseas is being recognized right here in the 4 states for his bravery and sacrifice. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky joins us live in the studio now with more.
Chris, the National Guard, like many other armed forces, are a family. When something happens to one member of that family, everyone steps in. Here in Joplin, Sergeant Robert Wayne Crow Jr. is being honored by the National Guard, his family, and the Joplin community.
The right thing to do is to name this for a true American hero. The right thing to do is to name it for someone who was and is the heart and soul of this battalion.
Missouri's National Guard Armory in Joplin is doing just that and being renamed in honor of Sergeant Robert Wayne Crow Jr. Sergeant Crow was killed in Afghanistan in July of 2010 after his vehicle hit an improvised explosive device. National Guard members traveled from all over Missouri to attend the renaming ceremony, even members from South Dakota.
We've got to honor him and the sacrifice that he made. And so myself and a lot of people worked very hard putting together the packet, putting together the proposal to rename this armory in his honor.
We were memorializing one of our own, Sergeant Robert Wayne Crow Jr., naming this building in his honor for his ultimate sacrifice to defend our freedom.
When discussing defending freedom, Major General Levon Compton quoted Ronald Reagan saying that Sergeant Crow died defending freedom, something so fragile that it's never more than a generation away from extinction.
Freedom's fragile, and we have to fight for it every day. Naming this armory in the name of Sergeant Crow helps us remember that, understand that, never forget it, and be willing to fight for our freedom and preserve it generation after generation.
Those who knew Crow say he always made sure others were taken care of.
I wish more people could have had a chance to meet the guy. He kind of acted like the platoon's dad. He'd go around at night, make sure everyone was good, they didn't need anything, and he was just always there.
The National Guard and any armed forces are a family. Sergeant Crow's blood-related family was there to honor him, and his National Guard family was right beside them to assist.
It must have been something just absolutely incredible for the National Guard members to be able to honor him and his sacrifice, and I wonder how many people don't think about the fact the National Guard can't be deployed overseas.
Definitely. Something that really stuck out to me is that people came all the way from South Dakota. I mean, people already came all the way from all corners of Missouri, but other states too came in to show support, and I just think that really shows the family that we were talking about in the story.
That goes right into that family that you were mentioning, that it is just one big family and these members are all tied together by that.
Definitely.
Bronte, thank you so much. It was a nice, beautiful day outside. Nick Kelly joining us with a look at the forecast.
Yeah, it's not a bad day at all, Chris, whatsoever. Even so far this evening, we've been keeping things pretty calm, but after a low of 47, a bit cool to start, we managed to warm up nicely to about 65 degrees this afternoon. We haven't had much to speak of throughout the course of the day. That being said, we did have some rain showers late last night, working through early this morning before sunrise. But have a look at this. The latest surface map has this area of high pressure control for now, but note the cold front off to the west. That's going to be the next system that will not waste any time getting here as we go into the final day of the weekend tomorrow. Right now, chilly, but not terrible. Lower to middle 50s all across the board. As far as where we go from here on out, though, as far as your day tomorrow, it's going to be cool again tonight. Mostly cleared, lows back into lower to middle 40s. Despite increasing clouds throughout the day, maybe a couple of stray thunderstorms by late tomorrow afternoon, Chris. That south wind, I think it'll get us back near 71 before the afternoon is all said and done. We'll see how long these incoming rain chances will stick with us for the week ahead. Here in a bit.
Nick, thank you. Webb City's having its annual spring shop hop, and what this does is it allows local vendors to come out and sell their goods. Now, the event hosts several food trucks, local boutiques, and then, of course, a number of items like trinkets, soaps, and you name it. Businesses are able to collaborate, and it gives vendors and upstart businesses opportunities to get their name out there.
So they're super beneficial. For me personally, I've just been here for 4 months, and I've seen tons of new faces that I haven't seen before that didn't know that I was here, and lots of the other shops as well.
Now, today marked the second and last day of the event. Well, Easter is just around the corner, so that calls for, decorations. Color Me Rad Company having its first ever workshop. Kids can come in and they were able to paint eggs in a black light room. Now, painting the eggs, these are going to be able to glow in the dark. Now, each kid was able to decorate a total of 6 eggs, and they're going to have the opportunity, of course, to bring them home.
They love the blacklight room. They love the glowing paints. As soon as they walk in there, the first thing we hear is, wow! And then to see it on the eggs actually like glowing, it really pops. And they just love the way that comes out.
You can find Color Me Rad at 3120 South Main Street in Joplin. It's been over a month and a half since Russia invaded Ukraine, and there's no indication the conflict will end anytime soon. Ukrainian military trying to hold its ground against its much larger adversary. Fox News correspondent Jeff Paul has more from Lviv, Ukraine.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine has now entered its 6th week. The constant shelling has devastated several towns near the capital city of Kyiv, with Ukrainians claiming an airstrike to the west damaged the city's cultural center and several houses. And to the south, trapped residents are without the most basic human essentials.
There's been no water here for almost a month. We buy drinking water whenever we can stand in line. I spent an hour and a half in a line a couple days ago. Only managed to buy 4 bottles.
Ukraine's military reports armed forces have retaken control of more than 29 settlements in the region. Russian troops have been seen withdrawing from areas around Kyiv. But on Saturday, a series of blasts tore through the city of Enerhodar, near the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. The plant generates over a fifth of Ukraine's electricity and is one of the largest nuclear facilities in Europe. Meanwhile, refugees are flooding into Zaporizhzhia by the hundreds from the besieged seaside city of Mariupol, which has faced constant bombing and shelling by Russian troops.
Ukrainian refugees are still welcome to Poland. We realize that this is what we owe to them, because they are fighting not only for their freedom and their independence, but also for ours. They are defending our values, which are so dear to us in Europe.
Thousands of Ukrainians have been killed in Russia's invasion, and now 4 million have been forced from their country. In Lviv, Ukraine, Jeff Paul, Fox News.
And we take this time now to honor one of our many 4-state heroes. Specialist Curtis Lear served in the Army in Afghanistan, his hometown, Pittsburgh. We're proud to recognize Specialist Curtis Lear, tonight's 4-state hero. And of course, to learn more about other heroes or nominate one of your own, you can do that at KOAMnewsnow.com. After the forecast, Russian troops who occupied the nuclear power plant in Chernobyl may have been exposed to dangerous levels of radiation before they left.
Promotional.
It was nice that we saw things warm up quite a bit after a bit of a cool start this morning. Thankfully, not as cold as how we started Friday morning out. We had upper 20s and lower 30s to start, lower 60s yesterday afternoon. Fortunately, we only dropped off into the upper 40s this morning before heading right back into the mid 60s this afternoon. That was a good warm up after we got rid of a weak wave, as Doug advertised the other night. That gave us late evening clouds, cloud cover last Friday night and into this morning, and even some rain chances skirting on by. Didn't leave much behind though, so thankfully it's not too wet out there. Only our southern counties picking up on the average barely a 1/10 of an inch of rain. Then after that cleared out, we stayed pretty dry for much of the day. Mostly sunny skies up top. We're still looking okay right now with nothing on the radar network. That being said, I think this will get a little busy again with our next storm system eager to arrive starting late tomorrow afternoon and certainly by tomorrow night. For the time being, though, 912 looking okay in Joplin. Clear skies up top, 53 in the city and at the airport, with the humidity starting to pick back up at 52%. Upper 40s to lower 50s. That's where most of us sit right now as we sit underneath a calm breeze, because of an area of high pressure working on top of the region right now. In fact, let me show you where that is as we broaden the view out across the lower 48. You can kind of see it already in the clockwise swirl of the winds. We had a northerly breeze today, a south breeze not too far behind. That's because this area of high pressure is going to be sliding to the east with time, and that will also allow that next cold front out to the west to start heading our way. Plus, we'll get some upper level energy coming from that upper level low, working across northern parts of Montana. That's coming into play tomorrow, but high pressure is keeping us quiet for tonight. In fact, it's going to eventually bring a southeast breeze back in overnight and will only allow lows before cloud cover starts to build back in by sunrise to drop back into the lower to middle 40s. Cloud cover gradually builds throughout the day. I think we're partly sunny through the morning, more mostly cloudy skies by tomorrow afternoon. Maybe a couple of showers or storms by late tomorrow afternoon as the front itself starts knocking on the door. But I think for much of the day, most of us are dry, with highs topping out right there around 71 degrees. Then as the front really starts to work on through, I think we'll have a better shot for scattered rain and thunderstorms tomorrow night. Going into Monday morning, I don't think any of these will be severe, but this system will be kind of slow to move along. So we'll hold on to cloudy skies and shower chances for Monday, with highs topping out right around 60. And the rain that we'll get just within that early part of next week up until Tuesday morning, we could pick up maybe ½ an inch to an inch of rain. But we have other rain chances we're watching as another quick wave could bring in some rain and thunderstorm chances again late Tuesday and Wednesday morning. Then it's a question of how fast this upper level wave clears out. I think any moisture with that wave by middle and late next week will stay just to the east of us, but this is going to mean a bit of a chilly stretch once we get toward the end of next week. We'll go 71 tomorrow, 60 on Monday, 69 on Tuesday, then lower 60s Wednesday. Then I got 40s and 50s on the board Thursday through Saturday, Chris, and potentially lows in the lower to middle 30s by Friday morning and Saturday morning.
Spring's still working on settling in, but it's getting here. Slowly but surely, it's getting here.
Yeah, hopefully soon enough we can get rid of these freezing cold temperatures that we're seeing on the horizon, and everyone with green thumbs can safely go about their garden.
Yeah. You don't want to start too early, around the 4 states, because you never know.
Yeah.
So, Nick, thank you so much. Well, still to come, a battery drain problem on some Apple products being fixed through an upgrade. Russian troops who occupied the nuclear power plant in Chernobyl may have been exposed to dangerous levels of radiation before they left. That's according to Ukraine's state energy company, which says the activity of the Russian forces there remains unclear. David McKenzie has more from London.
Now, in the very early stages of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, you'll remember those images of Russian tanks entering Chernobyl, the site of the worst accident in nuclear history. And now, in the recent hours, there's been questions raised about the state of Russian soldiers that departed the Chernobyl area in recent days, within the last 24 hours, in fact. There is a statement from the state-owned nuclear agency in Ukraine saying that they believe that Russian soldiers had built fortifications and dug trenches in the Red Forest. Now, that is an area that saw the worst fallout from that nuclear accident in 1986. Now, radiation levels have, of course, dropped drastically since then, but that state-owned agency says that those soldiers were panicked before they left. The CNN couldn't independently verify that assessment, but there is a worry that they could have had some level of radiation exposure. The head of the International Atomic Energy Agency spoke to CNN on Friday, saying there were some levels of raised radiation, but after so much time since that accident, that the levels overall in Chernobyl are low. They are requesting information from the Russians about possible exposure, and he's looking to go to the site as soon as possible. David McKenzie, CNN, London.
Coming up, for Taco Bell, one popular nacho product is apparently out of service.
Nominate your...
A battery drain problem on some Apple products is fixed through their latest iOS upgrade. The recent update in the iOS 15.4.1 promises to fix a battery draining bug which affected several users after they updated to the operating system. Apple's Twitter support noted that some battery drain was normal 48 hours after the installation. However, some customers still had problems with their devices 2 weeks later. It's not known how far the problem extended. Nevertheless, the upgrade also fixes some accessibility and adds new security. For Taco Bell, one popular nacho product is apparently out of service, and social media fans are noticing. Customers are taking to online forums to talk about the popular nacho fries scarcity they're seeing. Food chain seems to have run short of the item after recently returning it to their menu. Taco Bell says the shortages were temporary and at selected locations. Fans were suspecting supply chain issues and found answers after playing detective. The company is offering free fries with Grubhub orders to make up for it. A new debt survey shows Americans are struggling to make payments on items they purchase now but pay for later. Debt Hammer, a consolidation debt relief company, says in a survey about 30% of Americans can't keep up with payments in buy now, pay later options, which allows consumers to break down payments in small and manageable interest-free installments. But consumers skip payments for essentials like utilities, rent, mortgage, car, and child care to avoid defaulting. The report says 42% of consumers use buy now, pay later. Some plans do not require credit checks. Amazon warehouse workers in Staten Island, New York are celebrating their successful vote to unionize. They'll become the first union in the history of the company, which has been accused of trying to discourage its workers from unionizing. Fox News correspondent Lauren Green has more on this story.
It's kind of a modern-day David and Goliath story, as the behemoth of Amazon has been bested, at least for the moment, by its employees' grassroots movement. For the pop of the champagne, Amazon workers on New York's Staten Island celebrated this week's vote to unionize. The landmark tally, accomplished without any support from national labor organizations, is seen as a referendum against big business for usurping too much power to the detriment of the workers who help bring in the profits.
This is a chance, I think, for us to tell the billionaires and their mega corporations that we are not going to stand for them taking our labor, that we're not going to stand for them taking our worth, and that we're not going to stand for them taking our voice.
We got the juggler. We went for the juggler. And we went for the top dog because we want every other industry, every other business to know that things have changed.
Unions in the United States once yielded incredible power, helping workers stand up to companies to regulate work hours, wages, and conditions. But later, government labor laws supplanted much need for unions, to where the numbers of workers in unions today has dropped to just above 10%. Amazon has been quickly expanding its distribution network over the last decade, putting its nearly 1 million square foot fulfillment centers near large population centers for faster deliveries. Union organizers say Amazon has had high turnover and workers complaining of conditions which the company has ignored. In a statement on its business blog, Amazon said, "We're disappointed with the outcome of the election in Staten Island because we believe having a direct relationship with the company is best for our employees." Industry insiders say Amazon will likely contest the vote, and others predict it could create a ripple effect to other Amazon centers and other companies like Starbucks. In New York, Lauren Green, Fox News.
We're wrapping up this half hour of the news at 9 with a good reason to have spent your time outdoors today, and based on the forecast, you can do it again tomorrow.
The Outpost.
Well, if you didn't already do it, you should grab your loved ones and go outside because the temperature's not so bad right now. It's 53 degrees. It's National Play Outside Day. National Play Outside Day takes place on the first Saturday, actually, of every month, and it encourages kids and parents and adults of all ages from around the country to go outside and do a fun activity. Today, the weather was perfect for it. Tomorrow, the weather's going to be perfect for it. We'll have to see how next weekend holds up, but if it's every Saturday, the first Saturday of every month, you've got a reason to go outside each time. We've got 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports just ahead for you. Up first, the faithful flocking to Mecca to mark the beginning of the holy month of Ramadan. And thousands of Ukrainians continue to flee from violence.
Can't wait to see your bundle of joy.
Welcome back. The faithful flock to Mecca today to mark the beginning of the holy month of Ramadan. Muslims are observing a dawn to dusk fast. The war in Ukraine has cast a shadow over this year's observance. The conflict has sent energy and food prices soaring across much of the Arab world. This is Islam's holiest month, when family celebrations and gatherings for big meals are a tradition. Many people had been hoping for a more cheerful Ramadan this year. For the past 2 years, the coronavirus pandemic had cut off the world's 2 billion Muslims from their cherished rituals. But many are finding even the most basic items too expensive to buy this year. Thousands of Ukrainians continue to flee from violence as Russian forces continue attacking the country. Fox News correspondent Griff Jenkins has more from Lviv.
A train arrives, carrying desperate refugees fleeing unimaginable horrors, clinging to hope amidst a growing humanitarian crisis. Emotional reactions as relatives and friends are united. This train has come from the capital in Kyiv. It's en route to Poland, but it's stopping here at the Lviv train station, the main waypoint for the more than 4 million refugees who are trying to escape from the violence.
I lost everything. I lost everything in one day.
Natalia is a psychologist from the eastern Donbass region. She arrived in Lviv just hours before with her 71-year-old mother.
It was hell. RPG, Grad systems, ballistic systems. Everything is destroyed completely. Supermarkets, my house is destroyed. My mother's house is destroyed. We spent weeks in a basement. They destroyed the whole city.
This woman didn't want to give her name, but told us why she fled.
We had to leave Kyiv. Rockets flying above our heads. We are afraid. Our husbands stayed there. Our families are separated.
I am crying. It's really too hard.
Ludmila is from Kharkiv, an area seeing some of the fiercest fighting now. Will you go back to Kharkiv?
No. In future? Yeah. I believe. I really want. But I see when I use a train to come to Lviv, I see a destroyed house. I don't know how, like a lot of trash, but I see that it's real people accommodation.
It's scary.
Yeah.
One thing's for sure, everyone aboard this one and the ones that came before it, a life of uncertainty is ahead. Some wanting to remain nearby in hopes of returning to their home country. Others trying to get as far away as they can from what they call an unjust war being waged by Vladimir Putin. In Lviv, Ukraine, Griff Jenkins, Fox News.
Ukraine is facing a shortage of defensive and tactical supplies and scrambling to scrape together gear to sustain its defense against the Kremlin army. One Ukrainian family in the U.S. is doing their part to supply troops with equipment through charity. Fox News correspondent Nate Foy spoke with the family members about the work they're doing to support those on the front lines.
Ihor Koval is a Ukrainian-American business owner who has lived in Cleveland for the better part of the past 30 years. But when the war broke out, he flew to Ukraine the next day, stopped working on his businesses, and now spends all day, every day, trying to supply the Ukrainian army with equipment. Take a look.
What I do is I do get specific needs from military units signed by the commanders. And then I bring this exactly what they need, and I just give it to them. Directly to the military.
Ihor Koval is providing 5 crucial pieces of equipment to Ukrainian soldiers.
Bulletproof vests, ballistic helmets, drones, certain types of night vision optics, certain type of thermal vision optics.
He's been doing this since the 2014 Russian invasion of Crimea, but now he's getting help from his children in Cleveland.
I set up a U.S.-based nonprofit organization to make it simpler for funds to be collected.
Those funds buy equipment that Ihor directly delivers to the front lines.
I do find somebody who has a different passport and help me out with that. Or somebody comes from to the border and we meet them on the border.
He has this message about his time in Ukraine.
I don't want to dehumanize Russians in any way, but these people are really animals. They're shooting civilians.
Ihor and his son are asking for donations so they can buy more equipment. If you want to help, you can donate at supportuanow.org. Reporting in New York, Nate Foy, Fox News.
Later, former Alaska governor and vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin is running for office again.
I had a job as
We had a pretty quiet day overall, but that came after we cleared out some rain that we picked up late last night and into this morning. Once it did, temperatures were able to rebound nicely, certainly better than how we fared on our Friday. It was downright cold to start Friday morning out with upper 20s and lower 30s on the board. At least we did actually into the lower 60s. I think that's the past tense of rebound, but upper 40s this morning and right back into the mid 60s this afternoon. Good day temperature wise overall, and fortunately these rain chances, like Doug pointed out the other night, this is a really quick wave. It did not last long, and as he even said as well, once we got past sunrise, the rain was gone and we enjoyed quiet skies since that cleared out. It didn't leave much behind in the way of accumulating rainfall. The southern parts of the viewing area only picking up about like a tenth of an inch on the average. But this is how our view has been all day long. Mostly clear skies throughout the day and this evening so far. Looking good so far with nothing on the radar. But it's going to get another workout with our next storm system working in here. And I think, still expecting rather, with the rain chances eager to ramp back up by tomorrow night. 7th, the range line is still looking good. 53 with a calm breeze. Humidity at 52%. Upper 40s, lower 50s. That's where everybody sits at 9:39 with a calm breeze. But you can see how it's starting to shift more out of the east now. That's because we're seeing quite a change in the surface map setup, even compared to a few hours ago when we were having a more northerly breeze. We have this area of high pressure shifting across the northern parts of the area. That's why we're getting an easterly breeze now. As the high moves on, it is going to allow our next cold front from the northwest to roll on in, along with upper level energy running along with it. I think I said upper level energy. There we go. Both of those coming into play starting late tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. That's going to be our next best shot for rain and storms to ramp up, but at least we're quiet going through the rest of the night. And as we head towards sunrise Sunday morning, I think mostly clear throughout a good portion of the night. Then some cloud cover is going to build in from the west as we get your Sunday morning underway. And despite that, and despite mostly cloudy skies taking hold throughout much of the day tomorrow, and maybe a few thunderstorms late in the afternoon, I think we'll still turn mild with that good south wind back in play. 44 in the morning, 65 by noon, and the high of 71. I still think we can get there, especially by the afternoon with that south wind at 10 to 20, maybe some gusts near 25. But as the cold front presses in, here's 8 o'clock tomorrow night. That's when we'll have our best shot for scattered rain and thunderstorms. None of this looks severe, thankfully, but it's still something I'll watch as we go through your Sunday night. But the system will be slow to move along, so we'll hold on to the rain chances and a lot of cloud cover too for Monday. Still mild though, with highs around 60. Quick note on rain chances for the next 2.5 days alone. Maybe half an inch to an inch of rain at most. But we got another wave behind that system. That'll give us some rain chances Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. And I think most of the moisture throughout the rest of this system's duration will be just to the east of the region. But you can see how it is going to be slow to move along. And as it really carves that jet stream to the south, it's going to be rather chilly as we head toward the end of next week. 71 tomorrow, 60 on Monday, bouncing between the lower and upper 60s Tuesday and Wednesday, Chris. But looking at 40s and 50s by next week, and potentially another frost or freeze by Friday and Saturday morning.
That's certainly going to make it tough for the plants that are wanting to turn green and start blooming out there, because we're getting far along into spring and temperatures just haven't caught up.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that, but if those numbers hold firm, just cover them up and bring them in. They should be fine.
Sounds good, Nick. Thank you so much. Coming up in sports, Missouri Southern aims for a win today as they honor 50 years of Lions baseball. Plus, Pitt State looks to even the series with Central Oklahoma. Danny Terzer has the highlights next. Man.
Pitt State baseball had a 4-game win streak snapped on Friday in their series opener against Central Oklahoma, but the Gorillas haven't dropped many MIAA games this season, boasting a 14-4 conference record. Pitt State back on the field today, aiming to even out the series with the Broncos. Pitt with a 1-run lead here, but Noah Olson singles through the gap. Jaden Parsons coming around from second scores the tying run. That makes it 1-1. Jordan Maxson breaks the tie in the 6th. He crushes this ball to left. Solo shot. Gorillas back on top. On the mound for PSU, Peyton Ingalls still going in the 7th. He strikes out 5 today. Then Maxson back up in the 8th. He does it again. Solo home run. His 2nd of the day. Pitt State battles past Central Oklahoma 3-2. And head coach Bob Fernelli hits a huge milestone, earning his 1,000th career win.
It's a cool milestone, but we got to find a way to win tomorrow. You know, that's the only thing that matters. You know, it just means you're old, that you've been doing it for a while. It's cool some of the players from Fort Hays State and Emporia State were here today. You know, I think that's what we've built our programs on, is trying to play the right way and playing hard and becoming a family, and hopefully we can do that at Pitt State. You know, I think we're headed in the right direction and have a chance to do something special here at Pitt State.
Missouri Southern took Game 1 from Fort Hays State 4-0 on Friday. Today, Southern posts another shutout. They win 10-0 after 7 innings. Henry Kuziak and Tommy Stevenson homer. Case Tucker drives in 3. And Logan Van Way, what an outing today. He pitches all 7 innings and strikes out 14 batters. Pitt State softball has hit a rough patch. The Gorillas have a chance to get back on track today against Nebraska Kearney. In Game 1 of a doubleheader, Lopers get on the board first. Haley Shaneman knocks it through. Carly Leash scores. Next inning, 2 on and 2 outs for Sydney Thomason. She gets all of this one over the fence, but it's recorded as a double. Thomason fails to touch third base, so she's out at third. The other 2 base runners score. UNK leads 3-0. Gorillas get something going in the third. Bases loaded. Paxton Hayes sends it out to center. Corey Stonestreet scores. Pitt still down by 2 though. Later they have the bases loaded again, but this time the Lopers turn a double play to end the inning. Nebraska Kearney goes on to take Game 1 5-2. The Gorillas' struggles continue in Game 2. They fall 15-8. Paxton Hayes hits a 3-run home run, and Keela Griffith blasts a 2-run shot. Missouri Southern is coming off a pair of big wins on Friday. The Lions swept Nebraska Kearney, handing the Lopers their first 2 conference losses. Today, Southern hosts Hayes for 2 more conference games. Game 1 here, first inning, Ashlyn Williams gets a base hit to left. Adriana Young and Yasmin Vargas score. Later, Josie Topai takes off to steal second. The Tigers' throw is off, so Vargas scores. And Topai going for home. She's called safe. Lions up 6-0. Adding to the lead here, Leighton Withers hits it by the third baseman. Vargas comes home. Her 3rd run of the day. Southern rolls by Fort Hays 8-0. And they complete the sweep. Southern takes Game 2 3-1. Withers goes 2 for 3 with an RBI double. Bailey Lacey gets the win in the circle. She strikes out 9 batters. The Lions have now won 4 in a row, improving to an 8-4 record in conference play. The Kansas Jayhawks hit the floor against Villanova in the Final Four today. Kansas earns a spot in the championship game, beating Villanova 81-65. David McCormick scores a game-high 25 points. Ochai Agbaji adds 21. The Jayhawks are playing for the national championship for the first time since 2012. They're looking for their 4th title in program history. Kansas will play the winner of Duke and Villanova for the title on Monday. That's it for sports. Up next, Sarah Palin is running for office once again.
April is limb loss and limb difference.
Former Alaska governor and vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin is running for office again. Palin has announced she's looking to fill the congressional seat that was held for almost 50 years by the late GOP Congressman Don Young. It's Alaska's only seat in Congress. Fox News correspondent Alexandria Hoff takes a look.
Sarah Palin is now among the more than 50 candidates running to fill Alaska's sole congressional seat. The filing deadline for the special election was yesterday. The former governor posted this photo from the Division of Elections after her submission, noting that public service is a calling. The seat she's vying for had been held by Republican Congressman Don Young for 49 years. He died last month. In a statement, Palin said, "I realize I have very big shoes to fill, and I plan to honor Representative Young's legacy by offering myself up in the name of service to the state he loved and fought for, because I share that passion for Alaska and the United States of America." Palin served as mayor of Wasilla, Alaska from 1996 to 2002 before being elected governor in 2006. She most notably ran alongside late Senator John McCain in his run for president in 2008. She has remained out of politics since 2009. Palin added to her statement, though, quote, "America is at a tipping point. As I've watched the far left destroy the country, I knew I had to step up and join the fight." The primary will be held June 11th, and according to the Anchorage Daily News, the top 4 finishers will move on to the special election in August. The race is to elect who will finish out Don Young's term. A separate election will be held for the 2023 term. And Palin does have some real competition when it comes to name recognition on the crowded ballot, as a city council member is also running, and his name is Santa Claus. In Washington, Alexandria Hoff, Fox News.
We're back right after this. DVD, digital, and music releases this week include a popular mass killer, a genius detective, an award-winning singer, and more. Here's Fox's Kristen Goodwin with the list of new releases.
You ready for this?
A new Ghostface killer tops the list of what's new in home entertainment. Scream is the 5th film in the popular horror franchise that reunites Neve Campbell, David Arquette, and Courtney Cox. The trio take on a new murderer who starts targeting a group of fresh victims.
He's only the greatest detective alive.
Kenneth Branagh directed and stars in the murder mystery Death on the Nile. The sequel to 2017's Murder on the Orient Express features Branagh back in action as Detective Hercule Poirot, solving another case. Penelope Cruz stars in the Spanish drama Parallel Mothers. She plays a single mother who bonds with another woman after meeting her in a maternity ward.
I know exactly who I am and where I came from.
Keke Palmer plays a heroine who finds freedom and seeks revenge in the slavery drama Alice. A veteran rider nearing the end of his career hopes to win one last championship in the sports drama Jockey.
We all deserve better.
Available from the small screen, the 4th season of Hulu's award-winning dystopian drama The Handmaid's Tale, starring Elizabeth Moss, and season 1 of CBS's true crime series CSI Vegas.
Yeah, that's just life, baby.
For music fans, Camila Cabello releases her new album Familia. Serpentina is the 4th album from singer-songwriter Banks. Rock band Papa Roach unleashes Ego Trip. Grammy-nominated guitar virtuoso Joe Satriani releases his 19th album The Elephants of Mars. And Jack White unveils Fear of the Dawn, his first album in 4 years. In Hollywood, Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Always a lot of good stuff coming out in the week, and it's nice to know that there's always something new happening and something new to check out. Now, granted, I'm getting a little too old to keep up with all the new things. I know I'm only 35, but there is something about hitting that point where you're just like, whatever. I've got my classics, I've got my favorites. Cameron, you haven't reached that point yet, but I know you've already got some favorites, right? You've got some favorites that even when you're in your 40s and 50s, you're going to go back to them. I'm picturing myself being like 90 and listening to the Foo Fighters still. We'll see what happens then. That's our time for now. Have a great night.